ninth grade, and that's when I started.
Oh, okay.
And so we had a lot. I tell you what, we had this. I don't know if they still do it now. Back in those days, they had home rooms. Before the classes started, you go to your home room.
Yeah.
Well, Elvis and I, we had the same home room all through the 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And I still remember a lot of classes. Just sat down talking with you're just another kid.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna reach.
And so,
But another kid that must have looked different than the other.
the only thing, in my opinion, that made Elvis set apart from the typical fellow was his dress code.
Yeah.
He had a different dress code. Nowadays it'd be tame. It wouldn't be anything to it. But back in those days,
The sideburns and that sort
back
of
in those days, his hair was long. But today's standard would be short. I mean, it would still be longer than ours.
Well, describe his clothes. How were they different?
The colors combination,
Real bright colors.
bright colors.
Pink.
But that was the difference. But I'll tell you what, I told somebody last night. Matter of fact, I gave a neighbor of mine, I promised him a long time ago I'd make some copies out of my school book, which I'll show you.
Oh,
I got
cool.
some for you. And so I'm talking to my neighbor that lives in the same condo. And I mentioned to him, he was, and I have no reason to exaggerate, he was a good kid. He really was.
How much was there?
He was, as we would say, a real gentleman.
He loved his mother because she
Yes,
was the one that.
but he was kind and considerate to anybody. See, being in the South, we grew up when you address your teacher or an older person as yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And that's the way we all grew up back in the South, same way with Sarah. So that's to show respect.
It was
Yeah.
yes ma'am, no ma'am.
And I remember early interviews back in the 50s, when you see Elvis being interviewed, it was all yes sir, no sir.
Yeah.
Right.
All through his life.
He was very considerate to the people. And if you've heard about his kindness, that's true.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
One story that I remember, and I'm sure it was factual, he went to this certain car dealership in Memphis, and I know where it is, not that it makes any difference. And so he's gonna buy a car. Like I've often said, how'd you like to be a car salesman when you see Elvis walk through the door? And he didn't haggle with the price. He didn't say, well, what kind of good deal you got on? Whatever showed on the sticker, that's what he paid. And he noticed this young lady outside looking inside, looking at a car. She's probably just daydreaming, you know. So Elvis walked up to her and said, hey, how'd you like to have that car? She said, are you kidding me? And found out she was a nurse. She said, come on in. So he bought her that car. But he was big-hearted.
Yeah.
There was a lady in our class, I could show you in the school book, and I hadn't thought to tell you this. Now I'm speaking from memory again. I'll probably have another senior moment. But she married a guy named Morris. He was a sheriff in Memphis, or in Shelby County, rather. His last name was Morris, but I can't think of her maiden name. But anyway, Elvis bought the sheriff a brand new Mercedes one year, just show his love and respect
Wow.
to him.
Wow.
But he was big-hearted.
Yeah. I've always heard those stories.
If he wanted some trucks for his property, he didn't haggle over it. Whatever, if he wanted X number of vehicles, that's what he paid.
Yeah.
And another story, he and some of his buddies were taking a motorcycle ride through the Natchez Trace Highway, which actually is in Mississippi. As we say down in Mississippi.
Mississippi goes
We've
through
driven that, we
Tennessee,
know,
Mississippi. And
It's a lovely drive, very lovely drive. And so he and his buddies stopped at this, just a typical little restaurant, just a small town. And they went in, get a breakfast or a meal. I don't know what meal it was, doesn't matter. And so the waitress paid very little attention. And she didn't say,
She knew
Elvis,
who he was. She knew who he was.
She knew who he was, but she
didn't
didn't make a big deal out of her.
She treated him just like she was treating
Right.
everybody else.
So when he left, he left a note to thank her, and he left a $1,000 bill.
Oh.
I've never heard that story before.
Oh, that's the best tip she ever got.
I'm sure she never forgot that.
So
That's the way it was.
I've heard he